What's up, y'all? It's your girl Danielle S. Reed. Thank you for watching Reed TV. And I am in a whole new location. Today, I am working out of the Atlanta Microsoft office. But I just had to come to tell you all that it's time. It's time to do it. So, we have to review season 5 of Love is Blind. Because, baby, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they changed up the casting director. I don't know who we need to call because, baby, where are the attractive men? And primarily the attractive black men, okay? Am I the only one that feels this way? Let's get into it. So you should know that I am a huge fan of Love is Blind. Shout out to Lauren and Cameron, the iconic first season Love is Blind couple to be they were just truly everything. So let's start off with episode 1 of season 5 of Love is Blind. Is it just me, or did it start off very slow? Slow because even from this trailer, I wasn't sure what we were about to get. Are we getting successfully married couples? Are we getting drama? Are we getting messiness? Is there going to be jealousy? Of course, last season we know that we had the beautiful success of Brett and his wife are like the couple to be, pretty much up there with like Lauren and Cameron, okay? So you've got Brett and his wife, you've got Lauren and Cameron. Of course, Love is Blind has been successful in like bringing together these kind of two beautiful interracial couples that are still happily married. But is it just me, or do I feel like that was something that was clearly stated from the host in the first episode of this season, where we want you to fall in love, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion? I understand that may be something this season's producers are trying to push, like interracial couples, but is that truly fair? Is that really right? I mean, is there anything wrong with a black guy wanting to marry a black woman, or someone from the same race actually falling in love? I'm not here to say what's right and what's wrong, but I do feel like at the very beginning of the season, and even looking at the casted couples, casted singles, I'm wondering, are we even gonna find a black love couple this season? We have no idea. Okay, so let's talk about Izzy. I promise, when it comes to this season, Izzy is literally like the only attractive guy in the pods. Like, of course, we as the audience watching Love is Blind know that we can see who and what everyone looks like. But of course, when they're in the pods, they don't. But when I was looking, I said, Love is Blind season 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 through 3 actually, did a really great job with casting. I truly felt as if season 1 of Love is Blind was like casted with supermodels. Like, let's really look at Lauren and Cameron. Like, where do you see a good looking man like Cameron like that every day? You don't. And Lauren, baby, killer. So, and then no, there have been so many attractive couples. So that's why I'm just like, and attractive singles. That's why I just was looking at this season a little side-eyed. But I will say, Izzy is, of course, one of the most attractive men on the show this season. But I think it's so ironic that these women must have their feelers out because, baby, everybody wants Izzy. Everybody wants to date Izzy. Everyone's talking to Izzy. And so in episodes 1, 2, and 3, you definitely see what becomes that tug between the ladies dating Izzy and the struggle that Izzy has trying to figure out and decipher which woman would be best for him to propose to and get married in this experiment. So long story short, I do love the fact that Izzy eventually does open up to Johnny. So as far as the ladies that Izzy's talking to and dating, he's talking to Johnny and 2 other blonde girls. I'm sorry, I'll get their names later. But long story short, Johnny and him have a very strong emotional connection, which I buy it. I'm here for it. Johnny seems to be hitting it off with a lot of guys on the emotion in the emotional department. She also connected with a guy named Nick, I believe. But here's where Johnny messes up. It seems like she's got two really great guys into her. Johnny's a brunette, kind of soft spoken in my opinion. But I remember that Izzy gives her the compliment when he first talks to her, like, "Oh, you have the best voice. You have the greatest voice." And I'm like, "What about Johnny's voice sounds better than other girls?" But anyway, that was something I noticed. And so one thing that Johnny does, she's dating. She's got her pick. She's got Izzy. She's got Nick. She's dating. She has such two great connections between these two. But once she realizes that everybody wants Izzy, I feel like something turned up in her where she was like, "I'm gonna go after him." And so they have these conversations where Izzy's like, "Look, like, it's you. Like, I'm telling you, it's you for me. Like, I'm picking you." Basically, he's telling her, reassuring her in their talks that he likes her. He wants to be with her. He literally says, "I'm falling in love with you." I think Johnny and Izzy definitely got to the "I love you" stage. And so you see, all of a sudden, Johnny decides to make a decision to cut off her other connection. Don't ever do that. If you watch the show and if you end up on the show, do not cut your connections off too early. One thing I will say is that playing the field is literally what you must do in order to really, really, really get the best out of Love is Blind based on what I've seen, okay? So honestly, you never know what's gonna happen day to day, who might pick who someone else might be talking to and connecting with. So literally, Johnny cuts off the emotionally strong connection she has with this guy I believe named Nick because she wants to come back to Izzy and tells Izzy, "Hey, by the way, I wasn't gonna tell you this, but I went ahead and I want to tell you I cut off my other guy." He's over here like, "Oh," he was like, "Oh, really? Okay, cool." And so he basically is like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm here for you. I love you." He's falling in love with her, but Izzy continues to be honest and says, "Hey, I have other connections too." And so what you come to find in, like, I believe it's episode 3, is that Izzy pretty much makes the decision that he's going to cut Johnny off and go with his strongest connection. It was crazy. And so again, things it took for me a little, like, episode 2 and 3 is when things really kind of heat up and start moving along a little bit more faster. But ultimately, um, that's when things start get interesting for me this season because it started off very slow. That was just my opinion, but I just feel like it started off very slow. So ultimately, you got Izzy and his, whoever he picks is probably definitely going to be a couple. Because at this point, who are going to be the couples? As you heard, Nick and Vanessa Lachey said they only have 10 days, which is crazy. 10 days to fall in love, basically, in these pods. And so I think we always end up with usually like 4 or 5 couples. So I definitely see Izzy and whoever he picks being a couple. I was thinking Johnny might come out with being one of the final couples. I don't think so because she tries to go back and work things out with Nick after she dumps him. And basically, he finds out that, of course, Izzy dumped her. So she's going back, and he's the second choice. And when I tell you, I don't know about you, but if you dump someone for someone else and they know it, you better be prepared to come back on your hands and knees, begging this person to give you another chance. When I tell you, I said, Johnny went in that pod and was like, "Yeah, so Izzy didn't pick me." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." She was like, "I don't know what you've heard on that side." I'm like, "Girl, they might not even be talking about you, but who knows?" And so ultimately she's like, "Yeah, but I still wanted to talk to you again because, we actually had a stronger, connection emotionally. I actually felt safe with you." So she's trying to give all these reasons why she still wants to pursue speaking with him. But my thing is like, girl, did you even apologize? Did you apologize for going with, so there was this inconsistency, or that's what they believe, where Johnny says, "Oh, she wanted to be with Izzy because he was the not safe choice and Nick was the safe choice. But then Izzy says, oh, it was the other way around. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, I'm so proud when Nick says, I would do anything for you. I want to be with you. I want you, but I've got to pick myself right now. Because I don't know if you all, again, watched, but this particular guy actually opens up about something really, really rare that we never hear about, especially from a male's perspective. He remember he opened up to Johnny about the way that he lost his virginity, and basically he was taken advantage of, and you could even say raped. Like, he was drunk, he kept saying no, and he talked about the stigma surrounding men being molested and sexually assaulted. So this is something that's like, that was so big of him to share on the show, but also with Johnny. And to have someone that you shared that with go with someone else and then try to come back and say, oh yeah, I pick you. He actually states that he has been in these kind of relationships with women where he had trust issues or wasn't treated well. So ultimately, at the end of the day, good for you, Nick. Don't be the sloppy seconds. Don't be the second choice. You go ahead and pick you and find someone that really wants you the first time and recognizes what they have in you as a partner. So I was very proud of him for saying no to Johnny, but baby, that girl was mad. Well, she was a little sad. And we actually finally see a motion breakthrough on this girl, because this child has not shed a tear, really ain't cracked a smile, in my opinion. That child don't really smile that much. But Johnny ends up, when she goes back to, the women's quarters, she breaks down and starts to actually cry. And I was like, this is the very first time in the first 3 episodes we see any real emotion come out of this woman. So I'm actually was like, it showed that she truly probably did care the most for Nick. But I think that sometimes what happens, especially in the women's quarters, is they get this weird kind of competition going, where when a few different women know they're dating the same guy, they're all trying to beat each other out to be the one that he picks. And I think Johnny kind of fell into that competition and forgot about the love piece, because it's not about the beating out another woman. It's actually about finding the person that's best for you and actually going to be your husband for the long haul for you, committed for life. So emotional connection is something that you can't have with everyone. And so if you do build that with someone, don't take it for granted. And she literally learned on national TV firsthand not to take it for granted, and she did. And so I don't know if Johnny is actually going to end up with anyone. I doubt it, because both of her 2 connections have dumped her now. So it's a wrap, I think, on Johnny. But I think she definitely learned a lesson. And baby, the backstory that girl has, talking about some, oh yeah, by the way, all my exes been drug addicts. They all committed suicide. I'm like, oh, you didn't mention that at all in the first 6 days. Okay. But, at the end of the day, everyone has a past. So don't judge her past. But Izzy did, low key. Izzy got really, really weird about Johnny's past when she explained that she had an ex-husband, and then the person she actually loved overdosed and died, and her ex, I think, also had an addiction. So, and I have to say this, Izzy literally kept saying he's looking for someone who's mentally healthy, mentally, what was his wording? He was like, I'm looking for mentally stable. He kept saying mentally stable. I was like, ooh, I don't think we've seen anyone on Love is Blind literally say, I'm looking for someone mentally stable. If you're looking for someone mentally stable, that means you dealt with people who are not. So I'm claps for you. So mentally stable, which Johnny was, but you know who's not? I'm not gonna say Izzy's not mentally stable, but baby, when we finally get the backstory on Izzy and everything he went through, baby, now I understand why I don't know who he is, what his background is, where he comes from, how he is the way he is. It's just so interesting how people go through things, and that's what makes them who they are. So definitely watch this season. I will say Love is Blind is heating up. It's definitely gonna take the first 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes, but we gonna get into it. And honestly, I'm gonna keep watching if if we get a black couple, because I'm not gonna play with y'all. I'm here for the black love. And Love is Blind has actually been successful in giving us some black love. So if they're not here for the black love this season, why am I watching? I'm not here for that. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna get into this whole Uche and Aaliyah situation next. So keep watching. Okay, Uche and Aaliyah. Uche and Aaliyah. Episodes 2, 3, and I believe 4 get into their whole conundrum. So here we have the only potential black love couple here, because as a black girl, African American studies, I'm rooting for black love. I'm Issa. I'm rooting for everybody black. Let's find some love. Hello. So one thing, I will say I judged Uche. He's a tall, dark chocolate piece of man. But I was just like, what's his background? Like, I'm sorry. Like, this season, they done found the most scientific, nerdy, ecologically friendly geologist to date. I'm like, baby, every woman this season is a scientist. We got a biologist, a geologist, a motherfucking engineer. We got all kind of scientists in this bitch. So I was like, maybe what they did was they were like, we got some smart as hell women. We gotta find some nerds for their ass. Maybe that was what was going on. Cause baby, what? Have y'all seen Milton? No shade, but Milton, baby. Who told you it was okay to go on TV with that mustache and that Jerry curl? Baby, at 24 years old, baby, you look 40. My boyfriend said it, not me. Okay, so Milton, I'm sorry. I don't know how Milton got cast. He's a sweet person, but baby, we just gonna have to pray that he even walks out of this with anybody, because 24 years old and okay, anyway, let me stop. I'm not trying to shade anybody. Long story short, very smart women and some smart guys. Uche, okay, we got Uche, who's a lawyer. Okay, tall, dark, handsome, cool. He ends up talking to two, I think, of the chocolate girls. One of them was one of the Nigerian girls, and then Aaliyah, who I believe is black. I can't remember if she has a Caribbean or African background. I gotta go rewatch. But anyway, so Aaliyah and Uche connect. Yay! I'm over here rooting for them. Aaliyah and Uche. Aaliyah and Uche. All right, strike one. Okay, in the episode where Uche is asking, for open transparency from Aaliyah, he starts to ask the tough questions. He's a lawyer. That's what he does, okay? He finally asked the question. No. It was Aaliyah. She asked, because they were like, we're too perfect. We get along too much. She asked the question, what are one of your deal breakers? And then I think he threw it back to her and was like, what are one of your deal breakers? And I think she said cheating. And then he said, well, have you ever cheated before? And she said, yes. And he was like, tell me about that. And she was like, oh, it was just one time. But baby, when I tell you, she ended up telling him way too much. She went in detail, which, hey, this is what honesty gets you. She went into detail. She told him what happened. She said she wasn't being sexually satisfied. She goes into all the details in the episode. And basically it's like, this is why I cheated. Then, he's already kind of taken aback. He's quiet. He's not answering. She's just going on and on and on. And I'm like, all right, girl. And she's not like proud of it, because the way you talk about it matters. It does matter. And basically, she was like very honest, very genuine, and was like, hey, like, this is something I've never done before. I wouldn't do it to anybody else. And she's basically saying that it was only due to, her needs not being met, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then he starts to ask the real lawyer questions. He was like, okay, but how much longer were you with him after you cheated? And I was like, ooh, he's getting into the weeds. So she said 3 months. He was like, 3 months? He was like, have you told him yet? Does he still know? And she said, no. I was like, no. Baby, this is where you lie. Because when I tell you, what? I would have just lied and said, yeah, he knows. Like, who's gonna know? No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. But you, okay, and him. But Lord, she decided to be on that truth serum that day, baby, because she told him the truth. Like, the truth to the point where when she walked out that room, broke down on the ground and cried, fell apart, because Uche was like, this is concerning. And he was like, how long ago was this? She said 2 years ago. He was like, that's recent. She was like, is it that recent? I said, 2 years is a little recent. That's a little recent. So, he was just like, that's not long ago. Why did you never tell him? And so he's kind of on his like therapist trip, because he was like, I feel like you not telling him is more about you than him. I was like, ouch. And then he also was like, I appreciate you telling me, but yeah, I'm concerned. So I think she ends up like getting up to walk away and leave the pods. And so this is the second time I think we've seen it in the second season, where someone gets up to leave the pods while someone else is still talking, or takes a long time to say what they want to say. So long story short, she gets up and she's like so frantic and sad and feels so bad that as she's like opening up the door to leave, he was like, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. Like he said something like, I don't think it's the end of the world. So basically Uche was saying that he would probably still move forward with her and forgive her for it, but he just had to state how he felt about it, which of course, so I don't think she heard that. So of course, here we start to Uche and Aaliyah back and forth. So next time they get into the pods, she's all prepared to be like, well, defending herself, like, you judged me. And case in point, Aaliyah always I think this is the first time Aaliyah actually cries on the show. Aaliyah goes back to the women's quarters after she tells Uche that she cheated on her ex, and Lydia is right there like, oh baby, come here. And so she cries in the Lydia. And when I tell you, baby, I ain't never seen two women wrapped up all up together on the couch like that. I'm like, boy, baby, with the blankets and pillows all over each other. Cool, do y'all thing. But I was like, they're there for each other. You could tell that they're very close. Lydia and Aaliyah are close. Remember that. So long story short, they end up, consoling one another. Lydia says, well, you don't need to be with him if he don't forgive you, or he's not good enough for you if he's judging you. And I'm like, hold your horses now, bitch. Hold on, this is still my man. Chill out. I'm a little upset at myself right now, not at him, at myself, for just being too damn honest. But anyway, Aaliyah goes back to talk to Uche, I think next day or whatever, next time they're in the pods. And Aaliyah basically is like, look, if we're going to be married, I need to be able to tell you the honest truth and not feel judged. That was good. That was a good line. I was like, ooh, that's a good one. And so here's Uche with, yes, you're right. And he was like, I should have said that. I'm glad that you told me, even though it was hard. And he was like, even the fact that you literally told me, despite not knowing how I would react, and despite knowing that this could be a huge deal breaker, you still told me anyway, and for that I should be thankful and grateful. And so I was just like, yes, we're getting reconciliation. We still gonna get our black couple. Still gonna get our black couple. Still gonna get our black. So this is me dancing, because I'm like, yeah, black love. Okay, no. Here's the next pod situation. So I'm over here like, okay, we're starting to see all these people get engaged. The firefighter and that thick white girl got engaged. Oh, she was so cute. I can't remember her. Hallie, Haley, I don't know. They was cute. I liked them. I was like, check, I approve. The firefighter with the girl, they were cute. They get married first. Who's the second couple that gets engaged? I wanted it to be Uche and Aaliyah, but who was the second couple? I believe the second couple we see get engaged is Izzy and his woman, whoever he picks. What's her name? Claudia? I'm sorry, y'all. I just watched it last night, so I cannot remember all these people's names. But I think it was Claudia or something like that. So Izzy, that's the second couple. So we got the firefighter and the girl, and we got Izzy and the girl. And then still waiting on Uche to pop the question to Aaliyah, because they're over here like, yeah, we know we're going to get married. You're me, I'm you. I'm picking you. Just proposed already. Like, We already moved past the cheating thing. Okay, boom. Please propose. So I'm thinking the next time they're in the pod, they're gonna propose. Tell me why the next time Uche and Aaliyah get in the pod, he's like, oh, there's something I need to tell you. Okay. He was like, it's hard for me to do this. It's difficult to say. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, oh my God. See, Aaliyah been thinking this whole time this man is perfect. So now she's like, probably on pins and needles. I'm on pins and needles too, because I'm like, what you got to say, Uche? It's been like 6-7 days. I don't even know how long y'all been in these pods, but this got to be like the 4th, 5th, or 6th date. So what have you not told me yet, Uche? Come on. Why Uche was like, so on the first day in the pods, I'm like, is we confessing? What is happening right now? He was like, the first day in the pods, I came in and there was a voice I recognized. And I was like, he was like, yeah, so there's someone here that I've dated before. And I mean, here's Netflix giving all the dun 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 music. Like, you know, the show is gassing this to be like a really big part of I think this is episode 3. And I'm like, or episode 3 or 4. So I'm like, is this a big deal? And I'm like, why do we care about this? I was like, is this even relevant? I'm like, why does Aaliyah need to know that someone is here that you dated? And, but she's like, what? Who? And here he's like, it's Lydia. I'm sitting here like, why is this important? I'm still not seeing any relevance to them as a couple, this show. Why are we talking about this? So not Aaliyah breaks down and starts to cry. And I'm like, is this sad news? I'm confused. No one said that y'all had never dated people in the past before you got on the show. What is the problem? Everybody has exes. I'm confused. But this presents apparently a huge issue because of the relationship of Aaliyah and Lydia, which Uche does not know to this point once he has told her. Basically, Uche just lays everything out on the table and says, years ago, him and Lydia used to date and they were together, like they were together. He said it didn't work out. He has no feelings towards her, but you know, when they met in the pods here, they were like, oh, you know, and they decided, here's the key, they decided not to tell everybody about it. And they decided to not date each other in the pods because even prior to this episode, Love is Blind has not even shown us ever the meeting with Lydia and Uche in the pods. But they do a flashback. They show the actual time, first time they got into the pods. Baby, when I was dying, Uche did not remember that girl. When I tell you, Lydia immediately recognized his voice. But baby, for about 5 minutes, she had to explain who she was because Uche's like, who is this? She was like, you don't know me. And he was like, I'm sorry, who is this? Who am I speaking to? What's your name? And she wouldn't give her name. He was like, hello? And she's like, you don't know me? You don't recognize my voice? So she starts dropping all these hints. Oh, this. She was like, you're Uche, da 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 da. You are a lawyer, you da 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 da. So he was like, how do you know me? Who are you? And until she literally said Lydia, he was like, oh, Lydia. And the look on his face was like horror. I was like, why is he looking like this? I'm like, that's not a good sign. So not this girl being like, so I mean, we can still date though. And he was like, no, this is bad. And he was like, and she was the one that was like, oh, I mean, we could just start from ground zero. She was like, you don't want to get to know me more? And I'm like, girl, you desperate. And he was like, no. He was like, I think that would defeat the entire purpose of the entire experiment. We're not supposed to see each other. We already know what each other looks like. Why would we do this? And they agreed to keep it a secret. So he tells Aaliyah, she breaks down, and she has to leave the pod and like process this. And I'm like, girl, what is the problem? See, I just don't understand. Like, everyone has exes, so I just don't get it. Like, okay, so he dated somebody else, but basically, I think that what happens is the girl code kicks in, and she starts to realize that, of course, this new best friend that she's made on the show has been with the man she wants to marry. So I guess that presents some weirdness, some awkwardness, of course. But I think Aaliyah just continues to repeat, "Oh, I need to go talk to her. I need to talk to Lydia. I need to talk to her." And I'm like, "Why do you need to talk to her? What do you need to know?" Because Uche's already given you the information. Like, we used to be together, we're not. That's it. End of story. There is no other story. But here she goes. And this is women, and I don't have a lot of female friends, and I'm so glad because, baby, I don't need my life to be more complicated than it already is. Tell me why we see this long ass. When I tell you the conversation between Lydia and Aaliyah was so long, I fast forwarded it. I did not watch the whole thing because I'm just like, why are we watching this? I do not care what y'all are talking about. Because it seems so far that Lydia has been supportive of Aaliyah and Uche. She's been supporting her and them being together. She's been encouraging her. So I did not expect that there would be a switch up with Lydia going from supporting the relationship to all of a sudden not supporting the relationship. But maybe I might go back and rewatch it. Is it worth watching their whole little girl powwow, talking about Uche and the relationship? I don't really think so. Why? Because I don't have full blown conversations with my boyfriend's exes to find out if I'm gonna stay with my boyfriend. Like, that's weird. That's stupid. But anyway, here we go back into the pods with Uche and Aaliyah. And so basically, she comes back and she's like, you could tell by the look on her face that she's mad. You could tell by the look on her face that things have changed. And now I'm kind of like, what's going on now? This was supposed to be a guaranteed thing. We supposed to be getting proposed to. At this point, what's happening? Not this girl being like, Uche, I have some questions. And I'm like, oh. She got to line up stories and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie. Here's the first thing out the gate. Did you sleep with Aaliyah 3 months ago? I mean, Lydia. So Lydia tells Aaliyah that her and Uche had sex literally 90 days ago. I don't know why in the world she told Aaliyah that, but baby, that's it. It's a wrap. Aaliyah's like, and even when Aaliyah says it to Uche, he's like, oh, why do we have to go into this? Why are y'all talking about that? Why does it matter what happened 3 months ago before any of y'all ever knew each other? I don't know. I don't understand. Here he go. Yes, we did. But I am not interested in her. I do not want to date her. And so here's Aaliyah. Well, Lydia said that you were the one that wanted to start from the ground zero and start to date. Bitch, how is that true? You clearly have been dating him and she's not dating Uche in the pods. So my thing is like, you could have literally just checked and asked Lydia, are you dating Uche in the pods? Yes or no? Here's the thing. I just think that everything got blew out of proportion. And so long story short, all I know is I think after this conversation in the pods, I think Aaliyah either, I don't know if she walks out or I don't know what happens, but long story short, they keep talking about Lydia. I think they ended up talking about Lydia the entire rest of the time they were in the pods for that session. And at the end, Uche's like, but hey, none of this really matters because this is about us and our connection. Me and you are the ones that are going to be in a relationship. Me and you are the ones that want to get married. Me and you are the ones that are falling in love with each other. So honestly, whatever happened between me and Lydia is in the past. It doesn't matter. Baby, I wish Aaliyah had listened to that man when he said that, baby. Because all we know is, I think at the end of episode, I think it's 3 or 4. I gotta go check y'all, because I'm gonna continue to recap the rest of the season. Love is Blind season 5. Make sure you subscribe to Read TV because I'm gonna keep it coming. I think what happens is I can't remember how they end in the pods for that, after that conversation. I know they talked about Lydia at the full extent, and when Uche was trying to comfort Aaliyah, I don't think she was buying it. Like, on her face, we could see, of course, she was just still very hurt or crying. I think she started crying again. I'm like, baby, why is you crying so much? What is going on, baby? It's almost like you ain't never dated a man that ain't never been with anybody else in his whole life. I just don't get it. And of course, Aaliyah has told him by now that her and Lydia are so close. They're best friends. She's like, I love Lydia. I love Lydia. And I love you. And so she was like, that's going to be my girl. And Uche's like, cool. Yeah, we can all be cool together. Yeah, we can all be friends together, us together. And then she can be there too. Yeah, whatever. Like, girl, whatever it needs to be, it can be. But tell me why, in the next time that Uche goes to be in the pods, which, like I told you, by now they should be proposing. So he's dressed I don't think he was in a suit. I think he was dressed normal. But anyway, because they dress them up when they know that they're about to get proposed to, and or at least that when they know a proposal hopefully should be coming. So the next time Uche goes back into the pods, there's no Aaliyah. There's no Aaliyah. I don't know how long he waits, but he leaves and goes back to the men's quarters, and everyone's looking, which made me think maybe he was supposed to propose at that time. And he says she's gone, and the episode ends there. So I'll give him my take on this whole first season, episodes 1 through 3, Love is Blind season 5, from the very beginning. So I don't have to do my, thoughts and opinions on it, because you already know how I feel. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for Black love this season. It's not. It's just not. And I'm pissed. I don't like it. Will I continue to watch to see if Uche and Aaliyah work out? Yes. If they don't work out, will I continue to watch? Baby, I don't even know. I don't even know. And that's why I'm still saying right now to this day, this is the worst season of Love is Blind so far. Period. That's my opinion. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree, if you disagree, remind me of these people's names, because they all new to me and they all new to us. So just let me know. But this is Reed TV. This is your girl Danielle Reed, reporting live from the Microsoft Atlanta office. Isn't it gorgeous? Thank you for watching this review. I know I'm not at home, but more to come on Love is Blind season 5. Bye.